What's going on, guys? Kalipa's Tech here, coming back at you with another video. This is tips, tricks, and cool features for the OnePlus Nord N200 5G. In this video, I'm going to be showing you some different tips and tricks for this phone that you might not know about yet. But before we go any further, I do want to remind you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It helps out the channel a lot. But with that being said, let's get into the video. So the first thing I want to show you is a feature called adaptive brightness. This feature automatically changes the brightness of the display based on the lighting of the environment. So this is going to ensure that your display is always going to be bright enough for you to see it, but it won't be too bright so it won't bother your eyes or waste the phone's battery. So to get to this feature, we're going to go to Settings, Display, and toggle on adaptive brightness right here. Once the feature is on, as you can see, the brightness is going to change to adjust to what it should be. You'll still be able to see the display, of course, but it's never going to be too bright so it doesn't waste additional power. The next thing I'm going to show you is a shortcut to get to the camera. So all you're going to do is double tap the power key and it's going to open up like this. As you can see here, it's going to ask which app you want to use, and if you always just want to use the camera, go ahead and select always, and it's always going to open up with the regular camera app instead of asking you which alternate app you want to use. So we're going to try that one more time now that I've selected always. And as you can see, it opens up the regular camera just fine. The next thing I'm going to show you is the system navigation. As you may have noticed, we do have gesture navigation on this phone right now. And in case you don't know, the gestures are to go to your recent apps, drag your finger up from the bottom. To go to your home screen, swipe up real quickly. And to go back, slide your finger from left to right or right to left. It doesn't actually matter which direction you slide your finger, just so long as you go from one side of the phone to the other. So let me demonstrate. As you can see, it did the same thing regardless of the direction I slid my finger. I personally don't know why they have it like that. I think it would be nice if gesture navigation had a forward button too, but that is how it currently works. Now, gesture navigation is really cool, but you might want the button navigation instead. So let me show you how to get that. We're going to go to Settings, Buttons and Gestures, Navigation Bar and Gestures, and switch from navigation gestures to this option right here. This is going to give you the classic 3 buttons at the bottom that you might be familiar with if you're coming from another Android phone. The next thing I'm going to show you is an alternate way to take a screenshot. So as you probably know, normally to take a screenshot, you're going to be pressing the power key and the volume down key at the same time like this, and it's going to take a screenshot for you. But there's also another way to do it, and to do this, we actually have to activate it first. So we're going to go to our settings, back to buttons and gestures, quick gestures, and make sure 3-finger screenshot is toggled on. With this feature, all you need to do to take a screenshot is go like this. It's a real simple motion, and I personally think it's even easier than pressing the buttons. So one more time, make sure you have 3 fingers on the screen and do a quick swiping motion like this. And there we have it. It's really easy and really convenient. The next thing I'm going to show you is a really similar feature, and this is called drawing gestures. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of these, to be perfectly honest. They're not always the most reliable, but they can be cool once you get them right. So we're going to go back to our main settings menu, back to buttons and gestures, back to quick gestures. It's really in the same spot. And see all these options right here? We're going to do draw O, for example, and let's select turn on flashlight. So now when I have the display off and I draw an O on the screen, it's going to turn on the flashlight. And then to turn it off, you do the same thing. Now, the reason I'm not a big fan of these features is that they're not really that easy to do. A lot of the time, even if you completely draw the letter and do everything you're supposed to, the command still won't work. Now, once you really get it down, it'll work most of the time, but it still doesn't feel reliable enough for me to really want to use it as a valid shortcut. So the next thing I want to show you is some stuff you can do up here on the status bar with the battery. As you can see right now, we have the classic battery icon and a percentage, but I'm going to show you how you can change all of this. So we're going to go to Settings, display, status bar. And first of all, to show and hide the battery percentage, all you need to do is toggle this on and off right here. So now it's off, and now it's back on. And you can also change the battery icon itself by going like this. And as you can see here, you can change it to a circle, or you can hide it altogether. This is really cool, and as far as I know, OnePlus is the only manufacturer that actually has this option. The next thing I'm going to show you is a feature called Parallel Apps. This feature is really cool. It basically allows you to make a copy of an app so you can log into 2 accounts at once. So for example, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, all that. You might have 2 accounts on those apps, but only be able to log into one. So Parallel Apps lets you switch accounts without having to go through the trouble of logging out. So although certain apps like Instagram and Twitter, for example, do currently allow you to have multiple accounts and make it a lot easier to switch between them than it once was, the Parallel App feature is still really cool. So let's take a look at how we get to it. We're gonna go to Settings, Utilities, in Parallel Apps right here. Now you're going to see a list of everything that's eligible, and all you need to do to download the extra copy is simply toggle on whichever app you want to use this feature with. The other thing in the Utilities menu of the settings that I want to show you is the App Locker. This is a really cool feature, and some phones have a similar thing that's a little bit different. So for example, Samsung allows you to hide apps. This phone doesn't do that, but we do have the App Locker. And the App Locker basically allows you to encrypt an app, so it's harder for someone to get into and get your information. This is a really cool feature if you have some apps with sensitive information that you want to add an extra layer of security to. The next thing I'm going to show you is how you can show and hide your front camera. As you can see here, we have the hole punch front facing camera, and I personally think it looks really good. It looks super clean and gives the phone a nice modern look. But if you don't like the little dot there, I'm going to show you how you can hide it. All you need to do is go to Settings, Display, Advanced, and go to Front Camera Display Area. Once you're here, you can choose to hide the front camera, and it's gonna put this bar up here so you won't be able to see the camera itself. Now, I personally feel like this is a little pointless because this bar looks so much worse than the camera does, and overall it just makes the display a little bit smaller and looks weird. But if you like it like this, you can definitely use this feature. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to change your screen timeout time. Have you ever been in a situation where you're looking at something on your phone and the phone falls asleep on you? Or maybe the opposite, maybe you forget to lock your phone and the display stays on and drains your battery. Either way, I'm going to show you how you can avoid this. So we're going to go to Settings, Display, and hit Sleep right here. So as you can see, you can have it as short as 15 seconds or as long as 30 minutes. I suggest playing around with this because it's going to be a little different for everyone depending on how you use your phone. But those were my tips, tricks, and cool features for the OnePlus Nord N200 5G. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you found this information useful as well. If you want to learn more about the phone, definitely check out my full review of the device on the channel. But that's it for this video. Don't forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next one.